One day we'll have our clock on time. Way to go.
What an entrance. Mark.
You notice when you look at the clock, it takes longer.
I did that all day today.
Start of the clock. There we go, 7:30. Call the meeting to order. Before we start, I just want to recognize that we're on the unceded territory of the Upper Similkameen Indian Band. Can we get a motion to adopt the agenda for the July 2nd, 2019 regular meeting of council? Councillor Gould, seconder.
I'll second that.
Councillor Willis, any errors, omissions, additions? All in favor? So moved. Thank you. Number 3.1, recommendation that the minutes of the June 17th, 2019 regular meeting of council be adopted. Councillor McLean, seconder. Councillor Gould, errors or omissions? All in favor? So moved. Thank you. 3.2, recommendation that the minutes of the June 19th, 2019 Committee of the Whole meeting be adopted.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Elliott, seconder, Councillor Willis. Errors or omissions? All in favor? So moved. Thank you. Number 4, we have no petitions or delegations. No unfinished business. Brings us to staff reports. The first one is a infrastructure planning grant application. We have a staff recommendation that it is recommended that council, 1, approve the submission for the application to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing for grant under the Infrastructure Planning Grant Program, and 2, authorizes the expenditure of $5,000 in conjunction with receipt of a $10,000 grant if approved through the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing Infrastructure Planning Program, grant program for a CCTV inspection program of sanitary sewer mains in the town's downtown core.
So moved.
Councillor McLean, seconder. Councillor Gould, any questions, comments? Oh, yep.
I like
Councillor Gould.
questions.
Yep.
So that you're saying the funds are available within the budget already? We could just take it right out of, was it a planned budget?
No, these are additional funds. So if the funds are approved, they aren't budgeted, so we would add $10,000 to revenues, and $5,000 if it was $10,000 grant would be for the CCTV program.
So it's not needing an additional 5 on our part, a 5,000 contribution on our part?
No, they're neither item is in the budget.
Sorry, I was reading it as it was gonna cost us an additional 5,000 on top. That wasn't it.
We would have to contribute $5,000, and that's to come out of the infrastructure levy that we put in place.
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you. That's what I-
Any further questions? Councillor McLean?
So it would be an appropriate time to ask where or the service capacities for our water sewer report from True Engineering is?
For the Bondland subdivision?
Well, I thought we were, in relation to the development that we're talking about trying to find,
That's what you
I
said,
thought
Bond.
we were doing
That's Bondland
studies
Road,
on
okay.
capacity and stuff like that.
Yeah, that, we just received that on Friday.
Okay,
Yeah, so staff are going through it right now.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect,
So
thanks.
we did receive that, yes.
Yep.
Any further questions? Call the question. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. 6.2, bear-proof garbage cans. Recommendation that council refer the replacement of garbage cans on the KVR trail and the town parks at a cost of $36,000 plus installation to the 2020 budget process. Councillor Gould, seconder. Councillor Elliott, questions or comments? Councillor McLean?
How many garbage cans does $36,000 buy us?
Do we have an idea how much the installation would be?
We'll do it using our own staff time, so it'll
So-
probably be 300, 400,000 pieces or something like that, maybe 500. Because we have to pour a little concrete pad, and then we have to paint brick to the pad. So the bigger can't
Take it on the shoulder. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Just comment, definitely in support of it. Putting that to the budget for me.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, we will call the question. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. So that'll be moved to the budget for 2020. 6.3, Rural Dividend Fund Grant Application Number 1. Recommendation that council approve the application to the Rural Dividend Fund for a grant of $100,000 to be used towards Discover Princeton marketing campaign.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second that, Mr. Mayor?
Elliott, seconder, Councilor Willis. Any questions, comments? All in, do you have a question? Okay, all in favor? So moved. Well, you're kind of like, are we doing this or not? 6.4, Rural Dividend Fund Grant Application Number 2. Recommendation that council approve the application to the Rural Dividend Fund for a grant of $10,000 to be used for wayfinding signage throughout the town.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Elliott, seconder. Councilor Gould, questions or comments? Councilor McLean.
I only mention this because I'm thinking about trying to get as much money as we can. However, when things come along like this, I'm afraid of the fact that, well, they've asked for 100 and they've asked for 10. Well, let's just give them the 10.
From my understanding, it's two different pots that gets pulled from. I think we'd be doing a disservice not to go for two of them.
So is one called differently than the rural?
No, it isn't, but a lot of communities do get both when they apply. I looked through and got that. And
Okay.
the other thing is I would hate to get zero is kind of the other end of that. If they don't approve the 100, like last year we didn't get the approval for the 100. But we're going to do some changes. We're going to do some changes to that application, focusing more on marketing. And I think we'll have a better chance of getting them
Okay.
both.
What,
Councilor Willis.
when are these awarded usually? Good question.
Yeah,
Well, we just found out about the last ones,
just like a couple months.
yeah, like maybe a month ago.
Oh, so it's a
Yeah,
long,
and the application was put in the end of July last year, and they dragged their feet on it.
so it's like a year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But supposedly this go around, it's gonna be quicker. That's what I'm being told, because that was an issue when it came up.
Yeah, that was brought up in a meeting we had. So.
Oh, yeah.
When they were there, because people, trying to plan your budget for the year, but you're not finding out about it until 8 months into your budget.
Yeah.
Running budget's very difficult. So I think they're shooting, from what they said, was around UBCM shortly thereafter.
That's really quick. Quicker
Yeah.
than,
Yeah, because this is due August 15th, so that would be a pretty fast turnaround.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
12 months to 6 weeks. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might know by Christmas. Any further questions? Okay, call the question. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. 6.5, May 2019 financial presentation to council. We have a recommendation that council receive the May 2019 financial report for information only. Motion to that. Councilor Gould, seconder. Councilor McLean, any questions or comments? No questions? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? So moved, thank you. Council reports, let's start with Councilor Willis today.
Well, unfortunately, I worked all long weekend here, so I don't have much to report there. And yeah, it was a pretty quiet week for me.
Okay. Councilor Gould?
Well, I did take some time off too and had a holiday, but while I was on holidays, we had some bear troubles in town. And we had some incidents where they were going after our own, like the garbage cans on the trail, which we're hoping to address. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a year before we can really address it, so I just wanna stress that reduce their attractants to the bears in the community to help keep these bears alive. Like, our intention is never to ask you to call and report it and have them put down. The intention is just to have it reported so we're aware of the activity. And the more we can reduce the attractants, the safer it'll be for humans and bears. And also to rely on Carolyn where we can as a resource. If there's areas that are being targeted specifically by a bear, we can maybe have Carolyn go down and do some information handouts for them. The other thing to consider about if we do start looking at garbage or bear-proof garbage containers, there's so many things, variables to it. They're very expensive for sure. Like if we were to do it as a residential thing, the costs are astronomical, so we have to take time staffs working to get us quotes for that. And then also determining whether our current garbage contractor can even handle that. Can they pick up those garbage bins? So it's a process. So I just want the citizens to know that we're working on it and it's just gonna take some time.
Thank you. Councillor Elliott.
Again, a lengthy report on my part. I went to a lot of meetings. I'll try to condense it as best I can. Tuesday, June 18th, attended the Princeton Healthcare Steering Committee meeting with the mayor and PXA that evening. On June the 19th, I attended a community foundation meeting where 2 Princeton neighborhood small grants were awarded. One is for a block party on Penryn. The other is a party at Westridge. I hope I get invited to both. They sound like a lot of fun. Went to a committee of the whole meeting later that day. Thursday, June 20th, went to the museum regular meeting with the mayor and the interim manager, Todd Davidson, was announced. Friday, June 21st, was Indigenous Peoples Day in Veterans Square. Was there for the MOU signing along with the mayor. Tuesday, June 29th, went to a parade meeting. Thursday, June 27th, attended SVPS with the mayor and attended the farewell dinner for Terry Malinchuk, who was the outgoing museum manager. I was able to take my wife to that, and that was nice. Had a good time. Saturday, the 29th, was the racing days. Oh, sorry, Princeton Days. I'll be forever for me to get that right. Princeton Days Parade. And I had the pleasure of being the MC for that, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. And then yesterday, Canada Day celebrations. I was there with the mayor, and my wife helped put tattoos on people, like the one I've got, and handed out cupcakes. It was a great time, and that was my report.
Thank you. Councillor McLean.
Attended the parade, got to drive the fire truck because the mayor wanted to throw candy at kids.
They loved me for it. Parents, not so much.
It was, I think, according to the mayor, it was a substantially improved parade from last year. The only thing, a personal thing is, to me, the parade always used to kick off our celebration for the weekend, and having it partway through on the Saturday doesn't suit me. It may suit a lot of people, and maybe the majority, but for me, I always felt like Friday night, it kicked off the whole weekend and got things started. But at any rate, that's my point of view. The other thing I want to talk, when you talk about bear proofing garbage cans, I'm sure that a CO or something would tell me that my garbage can is not sufficient. It's one of those brown ones that goes up like that, and then it's got 2 handles that click on the top. I had a bear pull it over, drag it across the thing, and it had the teeth marks, because it's only plastic, and it had the teeth marks in it, but he did not get in it. Now, I'm sure that's not bear-proof by any means, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a start anyway, in terms of because before when I had another type of garbage can, it didn't work. It was spread all over my yard. So anyway, just a point that that kind served its purpose that day. Anyway, I'm not sure if the bear was really hungry whether it would have worked. And that's my.
Thank you, Councillor McLean. June 18th, I attended the Princeton Healthcare Steering Committee. Later that evening, I attended the Skill Center AGM with Councillor Gould. June 19th, we myself and who all went? It was quite a few of us. Went to the community forest up in Blakeburn with most of our partners, I believe, where everybody was there. It was a great tour of the woodlot. Weyerhaeuser did an amazing job at showing us the different stages from a part of the block that was to be laid out right up to where they were prepping it for reforestation, and we even got to see part of a spot that they were trying to plant the new seedlings, but we had quite a bit of snow that day and rain and hail and everything else. So we were also lucky enough that Brenda Gould, the band manager, who's also an archaeologist, was on the tour, and she showed us on part of our woodlot what a culturally modified tree looks like, and how there's a section of the woodlot that has this trail that goes through it. And so Weyerhaeuser explained to us how the trail would be protected, and the efforts that are between both the band and Weyerhaeuser to make sure this trail is there for future generations to enjoy. June 19th, I attended the Committee of the Whole meeting. June 20th, I attended the Regional District Board meeting. Then later that evening, I attended the Museum Board meeting. June 21st was National Indigenous Peoples Day. This was a great day. We had elementary kids from both our schools, high school kids, all come down to Veteran Square. We had students from Merritt come down for the first time, which was pretty great to see. I think they brought 2 busfuls of kids down from Merritt. The celebrations are put on by the Aboriginal support workers from the school district. It's a pretty amazing event. There was traditional drumming, there was musicians from the Métis community, local First Nations, and my partner Jess Blue also got to perform, which was pretty neat. We also had a local Indigenous poet who had some words for us, which were pretty powerful. Later in the day, we signed the new Memorandum of Understanding between the Upper Similkameen Indian Band, the Regional District for Area H and G, and the Town of Princeton. For me, this was a pretty exciting event. This new MOU is a protocol agreement between all the partners in the traditional territory of the Upper Similkameen Indian Band. So it's not just between the town and the Upper Similkameen Indian Band, or the Upper Similkameen Indian Band and the regional district, but one between us and the regional district as well. So it's a great way to show that we're willing to work together for the entire region. June 22nd, we had the community market down at the square. Then I went to grad, where I got to speak to the grads very quickly, because I know I'm the last guy they want to hear from. Shelby did way better than I did, and drove home some serious messages for them in a great way. June 23rd, I attended a walk with the Vermilion Field Naturalists. I was asked to come along, and where they had a traditional knowledge keeper from the Lower Similkameen Indian Band, Wendy Hawks, who took us through the area and showed us different plants that are used for food and medicine through the Swan Lake area. So it was pretty neat. Then later that afternoon, I attended a special ceremony for Joyce Fraser. She was awarded the Medal of Good Citizenship, and I was honored to be asked to present on behalf of our MLA, Linda Larson, a certificate of good citizenship. On June 25th, I met with Joe Piscaric. He's the I hope I didn't massacre his last name. He's a district manager for BC Ambulance, and he's just going community to community to meet with all the mayors to put faces to names and just to get to know each other, kind of just a reach out sort of thing. June 27th, I attended the Similkameen Valley Planning Society meeting, which we had here in town at the library meeting room. Then later, I attended Terry's going away party. June 29th, we had, again, the community market. The market is growing, and we're getting a lot of really positive feedback from the community, because there's a lot of activity going on downtown. Later on that evening, we attended the parade, which I forget how many.
31.
31 entrants this year, which was great to see. We finished and we came back around and we got to watch the end of the parade. June 30th, I attended the pancake breakfast at the Legion and then the duck race. And then that evening, I attended the movie in the park down at the Ball Diamonds. And then July 1st, I attended the Canada Day celebrations. I just want to say we're lucky in our community. We have so many amazing volunteers. The Legion, you can't even imagine the work that they did. There was around 500 free hamburgers they handed out, and I think they were guessing close to 150 hot dogs as well on Canada Day this year. Our volunteers in our community really are amazing people. So that is my report.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
for any chance, did they give you a number of when they, going back to the part about the tree planting, the numbers this year?
That we're planting, do you remember? It's 3,000 a day per person.
It was in the million.
Per person, yeah.
I thought it just.
Do you remember? You just did that thing. It's a lot.
It is a lot, I was shocked.
We were surprised when they told us how many they plant a day.
About 2,500 days.
Yeah. So, number's pretty big. We can get that number
But
for
they
you.
only
though.
go 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to number 8, correspondence receive and file. 8.1 is the memorandum of understanding between the Upper Similkameen Indian, the Town of Princeton, the Regional District, Okanagan, Similkameen. 8.2 is a letter from the District of Houston, provincial support for libraries. 8.3 is District of Sicamous, provincial support for libraries. Can we get a recommendation that items 8.1 to 8.3 be received and filed? Councillor McLean, seconder. Councillor
Mr. Mayor.
Willis. Any questions? All in favor? So moved. Thank you. 9.1, we have a correspondence that requires action. We have a recommendation that the request from the Princeton Exhibition Association for an additional fire hydrant to be installed on the PXA grounds be referred to the 2020 budget for consideration.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Elliott, Councillor Gould, any questions or comments?
How many fire hydrants are up there?
There's one at the street,
Yeah.
and then they're wanting one on the infield.
Any further questions? All in favor? So moved. Thank you. Number 10, bylaws and resolutions, a zoning amendment application for 367 Highway 3. Recommendation that the bylaw number 962, 2019 Town of Princeton zoning amendment bylaw be adopted. Councillor Gould, seconder. Anybody? Councillor Elliott, questions or comments? All in favor? So moved. And there's no new business, so agenda conclusion. Motion to close. Recommendation that the meeting be closed to the public for the purpose of considering negotiations and related discussions respecting provision of municipal services that are in the preliminary stages, and that in the view of the council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Willis, seconder. Councillor McLean. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. And that's all, folks.
The mine that gets hit every time with lightning.